Okay guys, today we are going to tackle a topic on indices. Under this topic we are going to deal with the laws of indices. Under the laws of indices, with me I have some examples of laws of indices which we are going to look at them one after the other. The first law of indices we are going to tackle is the law of multiplication. In this law of multiplication, we are going to look at an example of which we can use that applies or follows the law of multiplication. This example, let's take for example b raised to a. Here b is an index multiplied by b raised to b. This one, guys, is just the same as if you take b raised to a plus b. So here we come to see that if you take this law, this sign, multiplication sign, and you use these power modes, instead of multiplication here, you will put the addition sign. Okay, the second law, we're going to deal with the law of division. An example on this law, let's use the same letters. Here we are going to take b raised to a divided by b raised to b. This is the same as you take b raised to, in division, instead of division you use the subtraction sign. If I can take you back, we said that here instead of multiplication you use the addition sign. So in this one you'll take it as b raised to a minus b. Let's go to the third rule. The third rule is the law of addition. An example on the same, let's use just the same, let's retain the same letter. We are going to take b raised to a plus b raised to b. Guys, here in the law of addition is just the opposite of the two, multiplication and division. An example, let's take this one. In the law of multiplication, instead of multiplication sign we use the addition sign. So we take this one down here, and instead of addition sign we use the multiplication sign. So they are interchangeably, or they are interrelating that way. So this one is the same as b raised to a times b, or multiply by b, which is also the same as b raised to ab. Let's move to the fourth law. The fourth law is the law of subtraction. We are using the same letters. So here we take b raised to a, subtract b raised to b. Just the same as the way we did to the law of division. Instead of division sign we use the subtraction sign. And now here, guys, because we are using the subtraction sign, we interchange it this way. So here will take it will be the same as b raised to a divided by b, which is also the same as b raised to a over b. The fifth law is the bracket rule. An example, let's take b raised to a raised to b. This one is the same as usual. As we know, the bracket sign also always stands for multiplication. So it's just the same as taking b raised to a multiplied by b, which is the same as b raised to, the same as b raised to ab. The sixth rule, apart from these other rules, we are having another rule whereby, an example, let's use b raised to 0. This rule states that any number raised to 0 is equals to 1. So if we take b, we raise it to 0, it will give us 1. Okay, let's tackle on some typical examples on all these laws. Example 1. This example 1, it deals with the law of multiplication. So in this part, we are going to replace these letters with numbers. So in example 1 is the law of multiplication, and now we are going to replace b, letter b, which we were using in previously, with the number. Let's take a number like, let's say 3. So in example 1, we are going to take 3, let's say 3 raised to 2 multiplied by 3 raised to 1. This is the same as 3 raised to 2 plus 1, which is the same as 3 raised to 3. Example 2 deals with the law of division. And now we are going to use the same 3, the same number, we retain the same 3, but in this example 2, we are dealing with the law of division, whereby we are going to use a division sign here instead of a multiplication sign. Let's say 3 raised to 2 divided by 3 raised to 1. In this part, if you apply the law of division, let me take you back here. The law of division, which said that if you take this b raised to a, you divide by b raised to b. It's just the same as taking b raised to a, you subtract b. So let's come back here and say this one is the same as 3 raised to 2 subtracted 1 subtracted from it. So it's just the same as 3 raised to 1, which is the same as 3. The third example is an example on the law of addition. So we are going to retain the same 3 numbers, but we apply the law of addition. So an example, let's take 3 raised to 2, you add 3 raised to 1. It will be equal to, if I can take you back to the law of addition, let's guys move here. Law of addition, b raised to a, you add b raised to b. We say that it will give us the same as b raised to a multiplied by b, or b raised to ab. So the same thing, guys, applies here. So it will be 3 raised to 2 multiplied by 1. So it will be the same as 3 raised to 2. The fourth example is an example on the law of subtraction. let's go back to the law of subtraction. This one would say that b raised to a subtract b raised to b is the same as b raised to a divided by b. Okay guys, let's use just the same 3 so that it can be easier for us. So let's take 3 raised to 2 subtract 3 raised to 1, which will be equal to 3 raised to 2 divided by 1, which is equal to 3 raised to 2. Okay guys, thanks. I think we have come to the end of these indices and the laws of indices. Okay, I can take you through an example which applies the same. Let's look at this sum here. Let's say 5 raised to 2x minus 3. This one is more typical than the previous ones, these ones. So we take this one plus 25 is equals to 1. When we come across such a sum, guys, it's not that hard for us to tackle. First of all, under the laws of indices, we're going to make all these numbers to be base 5, as the same as this one. So we can take this as 5 raised to 2 x minus 3 plus this 25. Let's make it to become base 5, which is the same as 5 raised to 2. 5 raised to 2 is the same as 25. Also, on the other side of the equal sign, we make this one to become base 1. If I can take you back here, we said any number raised to 0 is equals to 1. And so this one 1, this one stands for a number raised to 0, which is 5 raised to 0. If you apply the law of addition, and here guys, if you make all these bases the same, we are going to assume these bases and only deal with the powers. So like for example, here we'll take 2x minus 3 plus under the law of addition, it's supposed to be multiplied by 2 is equals to 0. We're gonna take on these ones only the powers and leave the bases. So this one is 2x minus 6 multiplied by 2 is equals to 0. So this is, if you open the bracket, it will be 4x minus 12 is equals to 0. So 4x is equals to 12. After taking this 12 on the other side of the equal sign, it will be equal to 12. You divide both sides by 4, divide this side by 4. So x gives us 3. By 4, 1 and 4, 3. We can prove this one. If we take this answer, this x, which is 3, and replace it in the major equation, it's supposed to give us 1. Alternatively, we can, just to make it easy, let's replace it somewhere here, which is, it will be much easier than making or taking it here. So here in this part, we say 4x minus 12 is equals to 0. We have our 4 as 3. We have our 4 as 3, x as 3. So it will be 4 multiplied by 3 minus 12 is equals to 0. So this is 12 minus 12 is equals to 0. This one we have proved that the value of x, it's 3. Thank you guys.